Welcome to the video. We have the XTOOL D7 bidirectional scanner here, and we're going to look at the engine control unit, the ECU, on this 2023 Kia Niro plug-in hybrid. But this current model, or I should imagine all the XTOOL scanners, don't have the 2023 and 2024 models updated yet. They only have the Gen 1s. We can communicate to the ECU, so we will, and I'd like to show you all the parameters that you can look at, all the different sensors that you can communicate with in live data form. But also, there will be some updated and new videos coming out on the battery pack, and specifically the thermal management system. Currently, we can't communicate with the hybrid control unit, which would give us access to the battery control management, or the battery management system, the BMS, which is where we have the temperature sensors and voltage sensors in the battery pack, which is 96 cells, 3.75 volts each, making up in series 365 or 360 volt battery pack. But we can communicate to the ECU, the engine control unit. And though this may be incredibly boring, I've never owned a tool like this, but I've taken a couple family trips where I've been able to create some live data graphs from the almost, I think it's 150 different parameters that you can, or different sensors that you can witness in live format. So right now, as the car is running, of course, as you may know, it's very hard to get your car to idle. There's such a bias towards using the battery that just getting a Kia Niro to sit in a driveway and idle is very hard. So the engine's not running, although it might click on. So these are, without reading them all out loud, this is what you can witness, all the different temperature sensors through the cooling systems, the crankshaft position sensors, the everything, the pressure in the rail to your GDI injectors, the timing on that. I mean, so this is a whole new world for me. I'm not an auto mechanic, but I'm an enthusiast of this car that we purchased, this family car. And then you can open up any of these parameters, and if you want to whip, well, this is an on-off, but let's look something that has more variability. You can open up and witness it in a graph format over time on an XY axis, and you can select a number of these parameters and then layer that information in real time. There's really a lot you can do with this tool. But if you own the car, and if you're interested in going deeper into how all the systems are operating, it could be useful, and I sure hope it is for this channel. The whole point is to test the durability of this car over time, and I'm hoping with access to the battery pack specifically, anyway, there's upcoming videos on this, but since we don't have a heated battery pack with our 11.1 kilowatt hour battery, and discharging that battery under -4 degrees may create some issues, including this phenomena called lithium plating, where the electrons move much faster than the lithium ions can from the anode to cathode, or is it cathode to anode? I'll have to get smart about all these things, but it does seem like using sport mode in the winter, given the hybrid starter generator, and the fact that if you're using sport mode in the winter and it's, say, 0 degrees outside, unless those cells are somehow warmed by something I can't see, I don't think there are any systems in the thermal management system which heats the battery, it seems like you can put out almost 8,000 watts from that hybrid starter generator, and it would seem like it could degrade the battery more if you try to charge it, like speed charge it, when it's cold out. So I'm not using sport mode anymore in the winter, and I'm trying to use the engine more in general. There is also something interesting I'll show you just after this. because there's no setting where you can actually charge your battery to 80%, which if you do some searches on Google, it seems there's some reputable data that says if you just start charging your battery, and we have an 11.1 kilowatt hour battery, but if you just charge that battery so that, say, you're operating at a 10 kilowatt hour capacity, which would be 90%, that you can double the amount of cycles. So instead of 1,000 charges from 0 to 100, you get 2,000 from 10 to 90 or 5 to 90. So if you just narrow that bandwidth and don't ask to cycle so deeply, that you can extend the cycles not just by one-fold, but two-fold. You could get 3 or 4 times the amount of years. So instead of just getting 3 to 5 years out of a battery, you could be getting 6 to 10 and then 10 to 16 years if you just charge to 70%. So those are things I'd like to explore since we're in Vermont and the garage is getting down to temperatures of below 20. So I don't, and that's where this comes in. One of the few variables that you can change through your onboard software is actually this AC charging current. So you could lower the current. Right now we use slow charging from a 110 house outlet. We can basically push about 1,200 watts continuous into the system, into the onboard charger at a time, from a normal, with the charger that we get with the car, a normal house outlet, which is good for the winter. Apparently you do not want a high-speed charge at cold temperatures, so plan on charging slower. Apparently, yeah, like I mentioned, the lithium ions cannot traverse that space through that fluid. They have, copper and aluminum, very thin sheets that are wound, layered together, and the lithium ions can't move fast enough. So the electrons get ahead of them, and you can end up plating. You can create lithium metal, apparently. Anyway, so this is the only variable we can control is setting the current, limiting the amount of current in. So I actually put mine at 90%, and I'm not actually, I don't think I'm going to even give the car a full charge through the winter, but we'll see. We'll do some more research. If you're still with this rambling, know that I'm still waiting for the Blackstone Laboratory results from the oil change I did at 6,100 miles. We're currently in this car up to 8,600 miles. And I've sent 2 samples out to Blackstone. It's been about 3 weeks over the holidays. I didn't really expect them to be back yet. It's, New Year's or past New Year's now, but I hope to see results soon, and I'll report back as soon as I do. And yeah, car is still doing really wonderful, and I hope that this becomes an important tool to the channel as far as tracking those cells in the battery pack and really getting smart about the longevity of those 11.1 kilowatts. And yeah, I hope this can be useful for everybody. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again.